In the 90s and early 2000s, we got to see a lot of developers and publishers experimenting with new ideas, even if the final product isn't all too polished. Nowadays, game development and publishing is a different and more difficult ballgame. I mean, we still do get games with new and innovative ideas, but it's much more of a risk, as game development costs a lot more than it did back in the past, so some publishers like to play it safe and follow the trend of the most popular game at the time. This is where indie titles come in. Indie developers are more willing to try out new things, and in the last decade, they have signed to popularity with notable titles like Undertale still being talked about today with a dedicated fanbase, and titles like CS being nominated for awards. It is also thanks to indie games being a lot cheaper to purchase compared to the AAA market, and how easy it is for adults who don't have enough hours in the day to access and play them. So I wanted to do a little marathon talking and reviewing some indie titles, and the first game I will be talking about is Dandara, developed by Yon Hat House, a small development team in Brazil founded in 2014, which, according to their website, besides a small mobile game called Magenta Arcade, this is their first commercialized game. Anyway, let's begin. Set in the world of Salt, where creativity and freedom strive, but an unknown force takes over the world, and it's up to the heroine Dandara to take it back. Like a lot of Metroidvanias, Dandara's plot is minimal, that does less telling and more showing through the art, the environments, inspired by Brazilian culture, and Dandara herself, who is based on a known Afro-Brazilian figure of the same name, who fought against black slavery during the colonial period of Brazil. It really comes down to one's own interpretation, but for me, Dandara's story is about creativity, freedom, slavery, and fighting against the powerfully corrupted. With the few NPCs in the game, you give their passion and freedom to create music, art, and writing stories back. In the later half of the game, you see folks being controlled and tortured against their free will by the powerful tyrants who rule the world of Salt, which could be seen as an allegory for slavery in Brazil, which was the last country in the western part of the world to scrap slavery. However, my interpretation of the story really came down into researching about the game's development and references, so it might be a bit different for you. Pixel art is an art form I do like, but it is a style that can be easily abused and be used as a cheap cash grab to tickle the 80s and 90s nostalgia crowd. Thankfully, the artist for this game, Victor F. Leon, does an amazing job as each sprite is beautifully detailed and animated. I love the sprite work of Dandara, as you can see her clothes move in the wind. The giant bosses too have some amazing detail put into them, especially the second boss. The areas too are nicely diverse and yet pretty, especially the desert area with the sandy winds blowing in the foreground, and the first area of the game with its Brazilian streets and graffiti. The music was composed by Thomas Kaufman, who gives an atmospheric tone to the game's score with some electronic, giving a foreign and alienated vibe. However, the soundtrack itself isn't what I would listen to outside of the game, and I did notice in some areas that the music was silent and hard to hear. The exception to the rule is the boss theme titled Weight of a Doubt, mostly because boss music is my jam, but is one of the best examples of giving that eerie and alienated tone that gives me some chills. When interacting with a few NPCs in the game, some of the words get cut off from one line to another, which is more of a nitpick in my part, but it's kind of distracting when reading. I'm not sure if it's a conversion issue from mobile to console, but I thought I'd point it out. Dandara is a Metroidvania where you grow stronger throughout the course of the game, gaining hearts and new power-ups. But what makes Dandara stand out from not just Metroidvanias, but also other games, is that the player cannot simply walk. Instead, the player can only traverse by jumping onto white floors and ceilings that are near her reach, as there is no such thing as gravity in the world of Salt, which may feel disoriented, but for the most part navigation wasn't too big of an issue, but I feel the map should have been better adjusted to the game's shifting gravity mechanic. The ability to wart may seem intimidating, but I grew to adapt to controls and physics within minutes, as the controls felt nice and precise. The player has full 360-degree control, which is indicated with the white line, but there's also a green line which shows where Dandara will land next, just in case if the player is way out of reach from the next platform, which shows that the player doesn't have to be too accurate while moving. My issue mostly comes down to the combat. While fighting bosses are a lot of fun by testing out your skills, the later half of the game throws a lot of enemies in one screen, with a lot of them able to fly and firing waves and waves of projectiles at you that deals a lot of damage, making it feel like a bullet hell sometimes. Dandara's standard weapon, the spread shot, feels slow and doesn't fire as far, making it feel like a sitting duck, especially against enemies that can fly around the screen, throwing projectiles at you, so most of the time I just try to avoid conflict as much as possible. She does get other weapons, a missile and a ricochet ball, but these require energy, they fire around the same speed as the standard weapon, and besides the missile, which is only used to destroy certain walls, I didn't really use them as much in combat or for exploration. The checkpoint system is similar to games like the Soul series, where you can use your experience points at campsites to grow stronger and gain more health. Your experience points will drop out whenever you die, and if you die again, they will be gone forever. For the majority of the game, I found the checkpoints to be somewhat fair, but during the last end of the game, with the big difficulty spike, I found the checkpoint to be sparse and it got annoying. I did find a way to negate this by pressing the home button, closing the application on the Switch, and restart the game, which didn't get me all the way back to the previous campsite. What made me bought this game was its unique concept of removing one of the most basic fundamentals in video games, and besides the near end game, it succeeds as I had a lot of fun zipping around the world of Salt. I also liked how its themes and environments were inspired by Brazilian culture, which you don't see often in this medium. I wouldn't recommend this game if you are the kind of person who gets frustrated easy, as this game will test your patience, and if you're trying to get into the Metroidvania genre, there are many games that I would probably recommend first. But if you are already into the genre, I definitely recommend trying out Dandara. In the meantime, let me know what indie titles you would like to see in the future, either in the comments below or on my Twitter page. Take care and have a wonderful day. Hi there, this is Tanookiplayer from the future, and basically this is an unscripted part of the video. As soon as basically I made the video, Trials of Fear Edition, the update for Dandara, just came out. So basically it added a few new things like the hidden palaces, a new area in Dandara, as well as a new boss and a new secret ending too. It also includes some quality of life improvements, like the map is better designed, so now the map is always aligned to the player's north, which is good, and a couple of assist modifiers as well to make the game a bit easier, and some hard modifiers too for more of the people who like a challenge as well, yeah, a permadeath. So people who are new to Metroidvanias could still get into Dandara with the assist modifiers. So yeah, that's basically my update. Ciao.